I'm Chris Douglas, and I've worked with animals all over the world. And one thing I've noticed the globe over is that people live in fear of nature's large predator animals. With good reason. That's why I'm here in Alaska, to test and study some of the largest and deadliest bears in the world. For the next hour, I'm going to get as close as anyone ever has to the ferocious bears of Alaska. I'll be conducting a series of unprecedented and dangerous experiments with these incredibly powerful animals. We'll learn all we can about these fierce and ravenous hunters and find out why humans sometimes appear on the menu. You're gonna turn this over.
Hey, hey!
Alaska, with towering mountain ranges, endless coastline, and more than 600,000 square miles of vast wilderness. It's one of the most beautiful, yet unforgiving landscapes on the planet. It's also home to some 35,000 grizzly bears and over 100,000 of the smaller but equally dangerous Alaskan black bears, which makes it one of the most densely populated bear regions in the world. It's here that I'll be conducting experiments with biologist and bear expert Tom Smith, who has studied these magnificent predators for over 30 years. Using the world's first predator shield, a transparent, six-sided polycarbonate box, we'll be able to get within inches of these massive animals to get an up-close look at the feeding habits and predator instincts of these powerful bears. For our first experiment, our goal is to see how hierarchy plays out in a group of feeding grizzly bears. We've tethered down a 50-pound moose carcass a few feet away from our predator shield. We expect to see a lot of action with these front row seats. On paper, this shield can withstand thousands of pounds of pressure, but has never been tested against the likes of a wild and unpredictable grizzly bear. So tell me a little bit about the dynamics of bears and how they relate to each other, especially in regard to food, because we did put out a big piece of meat right here.
Well, the bottom line is with bears is biggest wins.
The adult male grizzly can tip the scales at 850 pounds. To sustain this size, the bears will eat just about anything, both plants and animals. They are ravenous omnivores. Grizzly bears can smell an animal carcass upwind from nearly 20 miles away. Their sense of smell is 7 times more sensitive than a bloodhound, and 2,100 times that of a human. The region of their brain that manages this incredible sense of smell, the olfactory bulb, is 5 times larger than a human's, even though their brains are only 1/3 the size of ours. Now these bears have caught wind of this carcass. This moose is a favorite food of the grizzly, and a chunk like this can represent the difference between life and death in the long winter months ahead.
Right now we have this bear coming in and he's found the meat and he's going to try to drag it off.
Within seconds, another large grizzly bear appears.
I think the other bear is bigger, and you're going to find out what happens when he comes in and tries to take it. Now, if you watch these two, this other bear is going to push him off.
It doesn't take long for the biggest grizzly to stake his claim. This large male prefers to dine alone and heads off into the alders to feed. While the larger bear feeds alone, a smaller bear capitalizes on the opportunity to get its share.
Yeah, that guy's just flat excited, isn't he? Look at him, my goodness. That's incredible power. Listen to him cracking the ribs on that thing. He's just breaking them up.
What
he keeps looking over his shoulder. So I mean, that's obviously part of that hierarchy in regard to who's going to kick my butt to get this piece of meat.
That's exactly right. He's looking. You notice the other bear did not look at all. The dominant bear, he doesn't look because there's nothing to fear. This guy's looking, and I promise you, if the small bear could sneak in here, he'd be doing nothing but looking, because he knows that if those other bears come back, he's going to have a hard time. I mean, they're going to whoop on him and push him off.
Once the larger male realizes that the smaller bear is eating the carcass, he returns to establish dominance. The smaller bears don't even challenge him, and he easily restates his claim. Now, will a larger bear let a smaller bear that's feeding know that he's coming in beforehand? I've heard of them breaking branches or popping their teeth or stuff like that before they come in. Is that typical?
Yeah, it is. I think that part of what's evolved in terms of bear social structure is that they do have a series of signals that do kind of diffuse situations. I mean, it sounds strange, but they don't want to get hurt. So they try to convey with body posture, with what's called a bluff charge.
Is that where they bounce on their both front feet?
That's exactly right. They're like showing each other the size of their body, like, you want to try some of this? If that doesn't resolve it, then they'll start a push and match back and forth. And finally, on a pair of evenly matched bears, they'll go to blows, and you'll see big chunks of hair flying off, and sometimes they rip an ear off. I mean, it's pretty brutal. But that's how they establish who's going to run the show.
Large grizzly bears have been known to attack and eat smaller bears. So if the smaller bears don't give up the food, they might become the food. Here comes a larger bear coming in on this one.
Oh, it's another bigger bear. So what you're going to see is the bear that's dominating it right now is going to be moved off, and he's making sure this bear can see him coming in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he's into some fresh meat, so that's what he figures. There's a lot of fresh meat inside this box.
Yeah. Now, the dominant male is trying to decide if we are prey or competition. We'll just sit here quietly so we don't come off as a threat to him.
Yeah, this is where you hope the box is really well built.
Don't slobber on me.
And all their theories are correct, because he's going to start shoving.
No, that's okay.
A little distracted.
If you've never had an 800-pound grizzly bear breathing down your neck, there's really no way to describe it other than terrifying. We are completely at the mercy of this animal right now. If he wanted to, he could thrash this predator shield and we'd be his next meal. If the bear charged the predator shield at top speed, there would be roughly 49,000 pounds of pressure hitting us. That's a force we've never tested. The predator shield is holding its weight, and it looks like he's giving up and going back to the more accessible food source.
Now you go eat that. See what he did?
Yep.
There was no fight. The other bear just vacated the carcass and left.
It's clear that size does matter here in Alaska, and hierarchy is distinctly recognized, leaving the biggest and baddest bears to rule these forests.
Look at him, my goodness. That's incredible power. Listen to him cracking the ribs on that thing. He's just breaking them up.
See what he's doing? It breaks ribs and it opens up the food source for exploitation. That sounds kind of grisly, but it's making it into bite-sized pieces.
Bears will not actually eat these rib bones. They're after the marrow inside and the small pieces of flesh attached to them.
But see, the little guy here, he doesn't have a chance. He wants that, but he doesn't have a chance. You notice the smallest bear in the background? It's not coming in here because it doesn't want any... Yeah, there you go. See how the other bear's running it off? That's exactly what happens when humans unwittingly stumble into a situation where a bear's got a kill. They perceive the human as a threat to their food supply, and they run them off. The problem is, the humans can't run away as fast as that bear did. We get overtaken, get slapped around, and it can result in some very serious injury. I've looked at a number of incidents in Alaska where clearly carcass defense has been the reason for the attack. 2 people died just 10 miles that way. They were trail runners, they were jogging, they ran into a bear on the same thing here, a moose carcass, and the bear charged him, and in that case the blows were fatal. The bear didn't feed on him, it just went right back to the moose and continued to feed. It had dispatched a potential threat. In the case of people, it's the force they unleash and their fury to defend is too much for us. They don't have the thick dermal shield, they don't have the muscles, they don't have the hide to protect them. So when a bear thrashes a human, it's just devastating.
Coming up next, what happens if you find yourself between a female grizzly and her cubs?
That's the last thing that I'll see with my eyes.
Surviving bear encounters can have lifelong crippling effects. And that's exactly what's brought me here, to the Russian River. Here at the Russian River in Alaska, the fishing is world class, with both sockeye and silver salmon runs in the summer months. High fishing seasons bring in anglers and grizzlies alike, competing for food and sometimes crossing paths. But if the bear perceives us as a threat, the encounter can end a life or change it forever. Someone who could speak about this firsthand is Dan Bigley. So tell me about the night of the encounter.
We had been fishing all day. We were done and heading back to the car when my dog Maya let out a little growl. And, at that point in time, I saw the sow. She was probably at 25 feet away, so my buddy John and I back away slowly and then take the long way back around to the trailhead. We were kind of breathing a sigh of relief when all of a sudden in front of us, the bushes on the trail started shaking. We knew that there was trouble when the sow came ripping around the corner in front of us. I figured the shaking bushes behind us must have been her cubs, and we unknowingly walked right into them. Maya, my dog, went leaping off the trail in one way, and my best friend John went leaping off the trail the other way. Next thing I knew, it was just me and the sow. At that moment, time just kind of froze. I tried to leap into the bushes, but before I could even hit the ground, she had a hold of my leg and was pulling me out. Your heart drops to your feet. You kind of go outside of your body and kind of look down at yourself and say, I can't believe that this is really happening right now. I'll just never forget, her head was massive and her eyes were just bright yellow, and that's the last thing that I'll ever really see with my eyes. The bear bit off my face from the top middle of my head all the way down to the lower lip. Basically, I lost both my eyes in the incident. These are both prosthetic eyes. All of the facial structure from my upper lip to the top of my head has actually been reconstructed out of titanium and mesh scaffolding. Really, this was just a sow grizzly that was doing what, mothers do best, which is protect their young. Do I blame her for that? Absolutely not. I really feel like, I was just the unlucky Joe that was closest to the cubs. I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and as a result, I paid the price.
How long was it before you actually were able to start coming back down here again?
Fishing is and always has been a part of who I am, so I knew I had to get back out and kind of get past that fear. So to be honest, it was the very next summer I got back up, and first fishing trip out, caught a 40-pound king.
Oh, good deal.
That kind of made up for some lost time there on the river.
In the last 100 years, there have been over 50 bear-caused fatalities in Alaska. As campers and anglers venture further into the wilderness, knowing how to act when confronted by a bear just may save your life. Native Alaskans believe that bears are another species of man, but they also know that they can be very, very dangerous. Upon encountering them, they used to raise their hands above their head and say, "Brother, I did not mean to invade your space, but I do want to go in peace." What I want to know is, when confronted by a bear, is it possible to talk your way out of an attack?
There are instances where people seem to have done exactly that. And a fellow down in southeast Alaska turned a corner, there was a brown bear right in front of him. And he talked in soothing tones, and the bear looked at him like a large dog would. Kind of cocked its ears and head and And this went on for 30 minutes. Bear didn't do anything, and then finally the bear just turned and slowly walked away. So I think in some cases it's clearly been a way to deal with a close encounter.
The experiment that I'm going to do today is I'm going to put a mannequin right outside of the predator shield. What would you suggest for me to do in regard to keeping an attack from happening on that mannequin?
Submissive type behaviors where a person backs away, that's a very bad thing to do. So regardless of the bear species, be it black, brown, or polar bear, standing your ground at close range is always the best thing to do.
Well, I'm about to find out firsthand if you can actually talk a grizzly bear out of an attack. We've set up the predator shield near a small pond full of fish, an obvious feeding ground for the grizzly bear. Next to me, and just outside the shield, is a human mannequin tethered to a 1/4-inch thick steel cable.
What I want to know is my voice going to deter those bears from attacking my friend outside?
Grizzlies have a keen sense of hearing, used to detect smaller prey such as ground squirrels and foxes. With such sensitive hearing, it's possible that a person yelling, "Hey bear," will be irritating enough to drive them off.
Okay, there's a bear coming in right now.
Coming up next, how not to become bear bait.
Hey, hey, hey!
Every summer, hundreds of people come to hike and fish in Alaska's Russian River. And when the people come with all their food, the bears come too. So what should you do if you run into one?
What I've done is place my buddy Billy, the dummy, outside of the predator shield. And what I want to know is my voice going to deter those bears from attacking my friend outside? A lot of bear experts say to stand your ground, don't back up, and yell. So I'm going to yell when they come up, and hopefully that's going to deter them from taking my buddy Billy. I have staked him down here so we can see if there is any damage to him.
There's very little a bear won't do for food, but they generally won't hunt at night. That's mainly because their eyesight, like a human's, is limited in low light. So I'm hoping some bears show up before it gets completely dark.
It's definitely that time, like that late evening when they start moving, and I'm on a definite bear trail right here too. Okay, there's a bear coming in right now. Poor Billy's outside the predator shield. Holy schmoly, he's a big one.
Hey bear! Hey bear! Hey! Hey!
So it looks like it's starting to work. I mean, as far as for me being able to yell, they're not really coming in as close. But for now, Billy's safe. I do see two more out there, so let's see if they'll come in this way and get curious.
Hey bear! Hey! Hey! Hey bear! Hey! This large female seems undaunted and very curious about her new visitors. Like a shark, this grizzly is calculating and takes her time before making a move.
Hey! Here's another bear coming up though right now. Let's see what this one does.
Hey! Hey bear! They soon realize that we're no threat to them. And Billy's in trouble. Hey! Hey! Hey bear! Hey! 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 This female tears through these jeans like wet paper. If Billy wasn't plastic, his legs would be a bloody ruin. The large female is claiming the pants and taking them off to a secluded area. Now it looks like the smaller bear is coming back to finish Billy off.
Hey!
Bears often pounce on their prey to literally break it apart.
His claws are enormous.
If Billy were flesh and bone, his rib cage would be completely shattered, and he'd be split in half.
Oh, there goes Billy.
The male grizzly spots the female dragging Billy away and closes in to get his share. While two of the grizzlies ravage the mannequin, the third bear sets his sights on the one possible food source they haven't explored.
Get. This is not exactly the spot I wanted to be with that big boar there. So the bear took Billy off and just ripped it right off of the cable that I had him staked down to the ground with. Billy is getting drug away. He's doing a number on him. They got more and more brazen and more brave every time that they came back. They pulled Billy off and are now taking him apart.
Bears are known to drag their prey into a secluded area to finish them off. The bears left the area an hour ago, so Tom and I are going in just to see how badly Billy was mauled. I think they pulled the mannequin over into here. What makes them want to pull stuff into the alders like this?
I think it's mostly getting it out of a visual so other bears can't see it. Help!
Hey! I see it back in there. Hey! Hey!
Help!
Hey! Here's some. Oh, there it is. The damage to our mannequin was extensive. We've removed the harness and clothing, giving us a better look at how devastating a grizzly attack can be. That could be some serious damage there to the torso. Now, typically, when bears attack a human, is there any place in particular that they start? Do they start at the head, the legs? I mean, is it just wherever there's movement, or how do they do it?
Well, I took about 200 attacks that I had data for, and we mapped it onto a human body. What we found was, for instance, the head and neck takes about 4.5 times more abuse.
Is it something to do with our teeth? I mean, do our teeth have anything to do with it?
It does. That's exactly it. If you watch two bears fight, they fight with their teeth. And I suspect on a human, they see the mouth as kind of a weapon threat, and so they go for the head and neck. Then, of course, you'll see defensive wounds along here where people are throwing their arms up to protect them, and they actually chewed this guy up.
They bit that guy pretty good.
They bit him up, but he obviously wasn't trying to protect himself.
And there's a puncture wound right here in the side of the head.
Then, interestingly enough, they usually chew the extremities off, which sounds terrible, but they do, and leave the core of the body mostly alone. They're real predictable in the way that they go about exploring things. So it's a good example of what might happen to a person in the same situation.
Coming up next.
What actually attracts a bear to a campsite, or even worse, inside your tent? Many researchers believe that a bear's sense of smell is possibly more keen than any other predator on the planet. But what I want to know is what actually attracts a bear to a campsite, or even worse, inside your tent. Once again, I'm here with Dr. Tom Smith, who has studied over 600 bear attacks.
In most cases, he only gets to see the aftermath. In today's test, we will see this attack up close as it happens.
So what we're going to do here today is set up a mock campsite. We're going to set up a tent, we're going to have the backpack, we're going to put the mannequin inside the tent like he just came in from a long day of fishing.
Bears attack with purpose. They're either looking for food
or defending their own. They will also attack when startled or defending their cubs.
In this case, we've got a person who's not going to surprise the bear. The bear's motivation is to inspect or explore. So the bear's making the choice to come into the camp, and that's quite a different sort of scenario.
So what exactly happens when a bear spots a tent?
Oh, here comes a bear.
Yeah, we got one incoming.
I've placed a human mannequin inside the tent, wearing clothes that have my scent on them, along with a camera that will hopefully record what it must be like to be in a tent during a bear attack. Bears are attracted to virtually anything that smells human, even items like toothpaste and perfume.
They're testing to see what it's made of. We're next. Oh, gee.
This grizzly bear has no trouble dragging the entire tent with the 100-pound mannequin inside of it off into the alders.
Look at that, they're both working it. Holy moly. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's eerily like a real attack site.
I can see him through the alders a little
He
bit.
is destroying it, that's what he's doing. For some reason they drag everything away from the site.
He came down with both feet on top of the tent, and obviously if somebody's in there sleeping, they don't really know what's on top of it.
Well, you know, for the attacks that I've looked at, that's real common. They'll attack the tent, trample it down, drag the whole thing with the person a ways off, then rip the person out and drag them off, and that's exactly what this bear did. It's kind of eerie.
Yeah, you can hear him ripping through the fabric.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy. Sometimes bears are just curious. We put things in the environment that invokes their interest, and therefore they come. But the problem comes in, unlike the mannequin, is that the person starts screaming or frightens the bear. Then the bear switches from curious to aggressive behavior.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big boy. Yeah, you just stay right there. Yeah, this is the kind of tent I would like. Hey there, buddy. When they see us, they automatically recognize us as a creature, and they want to challenge or test us a lot of times. With humans, this is the paradox about bears, is you know and I know that they could dissemble us, but they don't know that. Bears aren't particularly concerned about whether the prey is dead or not, but that they control it. Unlike some predators that quickly dispatch, they kill right away, then they go off and feed. Not with bears, they'll eat the victim alive. And in many cases, people die by what they call exsanguination, that is, they bleed out. Well, it sounds macabre, but that's valuable in that you have some time to go in and drive the bear off by maybe several people going after it and frightening it off, and that has been done successfully, so it's important.
These two bears are about equal in size, so they're going head to head to get control of the mannequin.
Had that been a live human, they couldn't have done any more than that mannequin did, really. The one common thread in the 600 attacks is that people didn't think it would happen to them. They're just going into bear country and hoping that things work out. My records show that we've had 6 fatalities since 2000.
Out of those 6, how many were actually consumed?
Of those 6, bears fed on 5 of the 6.
Wow.
And yeah, that's really not good. Normally, people are killed because they surprise the bear and then it defensively defends itself. It tells you that the motivation is not for food, it's to defend themselves.
Right.
But these last several where they've killed them and fed on them, you know, we can only conclude that the motivation was food.
Coming up next, I'm going to find out what really is on top of the bear's menu.
Grizzly bears are the world's largest omnivores. They'll eat anything, from human food to human flesh. I'm gonna set up in the middle of bear country to find out if bears have a specific preference when presented with a variety of food offerings, and how important is their sense of taste.
I'm setting up for a bear buffet. I'm gonna set up all kinds of food right here in front of me to see what bears really like.
One big reason humans get into trouble in bear country is when they cook or improperly store their food. The bears are drawn in by their sense of smell, looking for a quick and easy meal.
What we've done is laid out a variety of different foods. We've got the staple diet of the Alaskan grizzly bear, apples, some meats, muffins, trail mix, Rice Krispie treats. Now we all know that bears have a keen sense of smell. But what I want to know is how much does taste play a part in a grizzly bear's diet? Well, I've been here for an hour. I think I see something coming here.
Just as the first bear came in to take the entire salmon, I could see two larger grizzlies approaching fast.
They're chasing each other for salmon. There's 3 bears right in front of them.
The bear first bit the apple, but dropped it as soon as he saw the salmon, one of his favorite foods.
They got the hot dogs. Look at those claws. Can't believe this bear is so close to me right now.
Bears are known to eat foods with high caloric value and fats to sustain hard winters, but they also have a sweet tooth.
Looks like he's going for the Rice Krispie treats. He must have the same sweet tooth I do.
Since they are omnivores, bears have teeth designed to both tear into prey and macerate vegetation. The canine teeth can be as long as 4 inches and are perfect for gripping and tearing flesh, and the molars are flat and broad, ideal for crushing plants.
Decided to take the muffins over the trail mix. He's less than 3 feet away from the predator shield. I've been sitting in here so long my knees are starting to hurt.
By now, one thing is certain. If I was camping and these foods were left like this, open and not stored, there's no doubt I would be face to face with a hungry grizzly bear.
They didn't even touch the trail mix. There goes the apple. Their claws are amazing. Here's another one. Maybe he'll come back for the trail mix.
In this experiment, the bears seem to make conscious decisions about which foods they're interested in or curious about. I'm completely surprised these bears did not take to the trail mix. I thought nuts and berries would definitely be a part of their diet.
He doesn't like trail mix, that's for sure. Not like I do, anyway. He's pretty much cleaned up everything. Oh, he's right at the edge of my box. Man, this thing is right next to me. Look at those teeth. It's a little uncomfortable being this close. He's less than an arm's length away from me right now. I mean, I'm this close I could reach out and touch him. female came back. She's a little more shot than that other one. He looked like a big boar. That other one came out of nowhere. That one scared me. So now I've got 3 around me. It's hard to keep track of where they are because I've got one right here to my right and one straight ahead of me. It's just amazing being this close to these apex predators like the Alaskan grizzly bear. So I still got the 3 bears around me, and one thing that I didn't think about was, well, once I'm in here, how I can get out.
I've definitely witnessed the grizzly bear's taste preferences, but now it looks like I'm also on the menu.
I can feel his breath, the heat of his breath coming through it.
He's gonna turn this over.
There's no doubt in my mind that he could easily roll this box like dice. The grizzly bear is now taking an aggressive posture, something no one ever sees from this close up and lives to tell about it.
He can turn this over so easy.
I don't like that when he stands up because it looks like he's gonna get on top of the predator shield. That was incredible.
Coming up next, thought being in a car might be safe? Think again.
Camping draws hundreds of outdoor enthusiasts into the wilderness each year. Since bears live in almost every state, the chances of you having an encounter with one are very high.
Black bear attacks and incidents have increased dramatically over the past 50 years. And with more humans and vehicles heading into our national parks, the number of cars destroyed by bears has also increased. I've come to a spot where black bears have attacked several vehicles to see firsthand what happens when they do. I've set up my predator shield inside the van to witness what these destructive bears are capable of. And it doesn't take long for the bears to show up.
Holy moly, look at this. We've only been here about an hour, and I've got 2 black bears already trying to get in the vehicle. Wow. Whoa. Black bears, like grizzlies, have an amazing sense of smell. I mean, I was eating food up here in this car earlier, and as you can see, they're all over this vehicle.
The first thing I learned is that they're unbelievably bold. As I listen to their claws scratch the windows and their teeth scrape the metal siding, the van rocks side to side.
They're just digging to get in here. He's working on the latch on the window. That is not the side I would want to see if I was not in this predator shield. Holy schmoly, look at that paw.
These bears are unpredictable and cunning. As they get used to more humans visiting their terrain, they're less and less afraid of them.
Can you imagine waking up to that right there?
Black bears have learned that human food is just as delicious as what they can find in the woods, and it can be a lot easier to hunt. They seek out foods with high caloric value,
just like that which is found in human foods. When these bears rip into the upholstery of a car the way that these are, I mean, they're basically testing the seats, they're testing the carpet, they're pulling it. I mean, they literally have trashed this vehicle. Bears take exploratory bites of everything that might be food. Sometimes what they taste is edible, like berries and plants. But when it's not, they know how to deal with that too. He just puked everywhere. Nearly 2 hours had passed before the black bears had tired of looking for food in my van. They finally made off back into the woods for a more substantial meal, allowing me time to get out of the predator shield and meet up with Tom Smith, our bear expert, to analyze the damage. Tom, come take a look at this. This was insane.
Yeah, it's destroyed, isn't it?
Can you believe 2 black bears did this? I had one come in the passenger side, I had one come in the driver's side, and they just proceeded to rip the whole interior of this thing apart.
Yeah, it's real typical of what you see in black bear invasions into vehicles. You know, you really can't hide food from a bear. They can smell it, and if they can see it, they've really got motivation to get into a car. But they go way beyond the food. They start testing everything, and this is what you get. It just destroyed. You put something in bear country that's not natural, it just hits their senses like, wow, I gotta look at that. Normally, they'd maybe just look in the windows, but if there's food, now you got a stimulus. Once they're in, I'm sure they ate what food was there, and then they went into this exploratory mode and started ripping everything out. The problem is now they know what cars are about, and they will think that there's food in all of them, so it creates a real problem down the line as well.
I set out on a journey to learn about the feeding habits of grizzly and black bears. Using the predator shield, we were able to get within inches of these powerful and menacing hunters. There is some debate as to whether bears attack humans defensively, out of curiosity, or see us as prey.
Hey, bear, hey!
Ultimately, it may not matter. I saw that these bears are competitive and defensive hunters, and under the right circumstances, they'll treat us as prey.
We've had 6 fatalities since 2000. Bears fed on 5 of the 6.
But probably the most dangerous factor of all is their incredible, inquisitive nature toward our foods, our wares, and most importantly, our presence in their territory.
He's gonna turn this over.